Rockets, the second game of our doubleheader. We take a look at the Western Conference standings. So many scenarios still in place. Thunder and Rockets, locked into those first two spots. But the Lakers can clinch the third seed in a win and a Nuggets loss. So let's check in with our sideline reporter for tonight's game. My friend 3D, it was such an emotional game last time out for Luka Doncic. And his return to Dallas, 45 points in the win. He was seen in tears before the game, received a standing ovation after the win. What have the Lakers said about that night and getting back on the court after such an emotional roller coaster?
Well, most of the Laker brass are like, wow, how do you have such an emotional game knowing that you were drafted when you're 18, 19 years old, stepping into Dallas, and how the fan base really wrapped their arms around him and watched him grow. And then Isaiah and Jay Rose and Smitty understand this. When you get that phone call where you're not expected to be traded, that's when you're caught off guard like a deer caught in headlights, and I think that's what Luka was. So that's why the emotion was so big. So now the last home game of the season as they prepare for the playoffs. I'm anxious to see what the Lakers do tonight, how they take advantage of the Rockets. So much speculation, how many Rockets played tonight. So it's going to be a very interesting game here.
Yeah, you say that. I hear the speculation. I see who's out. Rockets, I have listed 5 players out, including Amen Thompson and Fred VanVleet. LeBron James listed as a game-time decision. Any update on LeBron? And are any of these Rockets injuries serious, or are they just trying to prepare for the playoffs?
No serious injuries for the Rockets. Went by a shoot-around today. Shingun wasn't there. He's fighting a little flu bug, if you will, but nothing serious that won't hold him out for the playoffs. So I think at the end of the day, the Rockets are being very cautious and making sure nothing happens these last 2 games. Even speaking with Jabari Smith, he's feeling pretty good. In and out of the lineup, he's like, old school, I'm just happy. I'm getting a fresh opportunity to be my first time in the playoffs. And whatever coach Ime Udoka wants, I'm ready to do so. Each guy's saying the right thing, trying to stay healthy. So seeing how they finish up these last 2 games, knowing they have the 2 spot locked down.
3D, you look like you're ready to hit the beach, man, out there in the sunshine with the shades on. Thank you. Great job on the sidelines as always tonight. Leave it.
Hey, Chris, these are transitions. When the sun come out, the shades automatically go, baby. Leave it.
All right, my friend, we appreciate you and look for you on the sidelines.
All right, guys.
So, look, Zeke, let's start with Luka Doncic, right? You saw his emotional return to Dallas. Obviously, he was a guy that didn't expect to be traded, wanted to stay there, but now he's with the Lakers. And we have a sample size of what they are. Last 10 games, he's averaging 29, 7, and 7. Now that we've seen it, what do you think the Lakers' potential is in the playoffs now that we have what we have with Luka?
I think they got a chance to go all the way to the finals. And the reason why I say that is because no matter who they match up against, they're going to walk out on the floor with the 2 best players and the 2 smartest players, right? Luka and LeBron offensively are offensive geniuses. And I don't say that lightly. I'm going to say it again. These 2 guys are offensive geniuses. And when they walk out on the floor, whoever they're matched up against, they're going to be the 2 best players and the 2 smartest players. And I say this respectfully to all the other teams that they're playing against. Okay, even if it's Golden State, they got 1 in Steph. But, Lakers got 2. Denver got 1 in the Joker. But the Lakers got 2. So when you got brains and intellect walking into a playoff situation, and then you can back it up with talent, those are the teams that normally win. And then on the bench, you got to give J.J. Redick and his coaching staff a lot of credit because they got 3 former players over there with playoff championship experience that can speak and talk to those individuals and strategize about how to win a basketball game, and keyword, how do you make adjustments in the game?
So all the things I just heard from Zeke, I think about LeBron being 40 years old and the benefit of avoiding the play-in, right? Because you look at where the Lakers are now, they won't have to battle. How important do you think that is for that guy in particular?
Well, it's extremely important that the Lakers avoid the play-in, and that's one of the reasons why you actually trade Anthony Davis, because what happens is LeBron flirting with 40 and AD playing 60-plus games, that puts you in the play-in. And it's virtually an uphill battle the entire time to try to make it through the play-in and actually, make it to the conference finals, make it to the NBA finals. That's why I love them adding Luka. But if you're the Dallas Mavs and you don't want to pay Luka, then just sell the team. Like, he's been All-NBA 5 times. He just led them to the NBA finals last season. And you're right. He was crying in the pregame, but he made the Mavs cry after the game. And so, and he's a dynamic player that I think that can perform in any generation. And so, for the Lakers, I think they have a gem in that. And Zeke is right. They got a chance to make it to the finals.
Yeah, the Lakers facing the Houston Rockets. That's a 10:30 start, the second part of our doubleheader. And Ime Udoka, once again, doing an amazing job, has them second out west. Fred VanVleet, the veteran that they brought in, 3D caught up with him at shoot-around earlier today.
All right, thanks, guys. Here with Steady Freddie. Fred, this season's going along the way most would like. When you're healthy, this team runs the right way. Why is that so successful?
We just got a lot of talent. We got a lot of young guys, hungry guys, blossoming into great players. And, I put my spin on it, kind of set the table, be the leader and kind of the floor general for these guys and try to set the tone and, kind of quarterback it a little bit as best I can. But we got a really good, deep, young team.
Look at the Houston Rockets. Kudos to Ime Udoka and the turnaround in his 2 seasons there, Smitty. We see it on your screen right now. But here's the thing. Now they're the second seed. Now they're going to the playoffs. So when you enter the postseason for the first time with a young group with tons of potential, what are the question marks and the growing pains that we're looking at with this team?
Well, the only thing I look at is I think their defense travels. I think they have guys that can guard Zeke and Jalen. I think that will travel in the playoffs. Then I love the head coach of the experience, and I've been knowing Ime Udoka since he was in Portland when he practiced with us when he was in college. He is going to be that guy that's that gritty coach that's going to feel like he's out there with you. The only question I have, and I hope they can figure this out, is who's going to be that guy at the end of the game? Who's the number one option? And I'm not talking about throughout the game. Who's going to be to say, I love you, coach, bring it to me. Bring it to me. Is that Jalen Green? Is that Şengün? We know Fred VanVleet might want that. But I think it has to be one of those 2 guys that say, Coach, I got the matchup that I can win the matchup, not just to score, but make the winning play. The winning play might not be score. Everybody thinks the man is the guy that's going, I want to score it. No, I'm going to make the play.
Right.
The play might be to draw a double. It might be to draw a foul or hit the shot. And I want to know if that's Jalen Green or Şengün. And they're young. I'm not going to put all that pressure on it, but somebody's about to take that role.
Well, I know who's going to ask for it. Now, the coach ain't going to give it to him. But Dylan Brooks going to be like, Coach, bring it. I got you, Coach. Bring it to me.
Oh, man.
Now, Coach man be like, nah.
Well, we got that answer, Smitty. But, yeah, Pistons, Bucks, and here's the thing about playoff implications and what this game means. You see the Bucks and the Pistons, 2 games separate them in the standings for the 5th and 6th seed, and they play each other tonight. And they play each other again the final 2 games of the regular season. So, Zeke, when I look at the standings and I see the Pistons can move up to 5, why does that hold value?
Well, it holds value because, they get on the Lodge Freeway tonight, right? And on the Lodge, they may be looking at, okay, who do we want to play, right? So the Pistons are in a position right now where they can decide who they match up best against, whether it be New York or whether it be Indiana. And this is a good position for them to be in, even though there'll be a 6 seed or a 5 seed. With Cade, you're capable of winning any game in somebody else's building. So I like the position that the Pistons are in tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3-1 against the Knicks, so we know that that's a good draw for them. But that's the last time we saw the Pistons play. They beat the Knicks, and they did it with Cade Cunningham dropping 36 and Jalen Duren 9 for 9 from the field. When you look at the Pistons in these matchups, what does that tell us about them being playoff ready?
So I would love for the Pistons to play the Knicks for a few reasons. Number one, just the multimedia market to give us more exposure when we eliminate them. The next thing, the Knicks pick and roll with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns plays right into the Pistons' hands. With Cade Cunningham and Duren, you notice last game,